We are back for another new episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast. We missed last week because we were out at Furnace Fest, and this will be our Furnace Fest recap. We go through all 3 days, but we did break it up into 2 episodes because we had a lot to say. So, hopefully, you guys enjoy this. It is something that was absolutely life changing and monumental for us. I don't know if I expected for this to be as great as it really was, and I am now super sad that this was the last year of Furnace Fest. But go on, take a listen, let us know what you think, and catch episode 2 later this week. Let's open this pit up.
Somebody hit somebody!
Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode of the Pit Therapy Podcast. I'm Kyle and I'm here with Trevor, and we're alive, I guess, after a pretty wild weekend. So, how you doing, man?
Good, man. We missed last week because we were out at Furnace Fest, and then this is coming a day late because we're still recovering from Furnace Fest. So,
Yeah,
but doing good.
I seriously think that festival took 10 years off my life.
Oh, dude, it was wild. And then on top of that, you went straight from the fest out to a work event too. So, did you
Yeah.
get questioned at all?
No,
Were you all
no.
booed up? Why were you grimacing when they were?
I mean, luckily it was like a pretty laid back work thing. So like I took like 3 hour naps both days I was out there. So
Dude, that's so nice.
it was fine, but I mean, I've still got bruises and
Yeah.
and still hurts. Sorry to whoever I hit. I can't cause this, but I'm feeling the pain too. So, I guess, yeah.
Dude, it's so weird. It's so weird being old and having real life adult responsibilities and then doing something like that and immediately having to flip the switch and come home and just be regular again.
Yeah.
Because like I came home, I'm like, I've got work stuff to do. I've got to catch up with kids. I've got to get like right back in the throw of things. So I still have videos to post. I still have content. I've got all sorts of crap that needs to get built and posted still. So
Yeah.
people are going to be watching Furnace Fest stuff for the next month on the Pit Therapy.
I mean, it's the last one they ever did. So get it all while you can,
For real.
you're not going to see anymore. So, I mean, I know we usually get into like music we've listened to or tours or whatever. I mean, I've kind of taken a break from heavy music this last week. I've pretty much just listened to like country and stuff. So I don't know if you have any new music that you want to talk about.
So the only thing I want to shout out, I want to make sure I get this shouted out, is Recidivist, the Utah boys. They just got signed and they're putting out a full length with what's the label called? Creator Destructor Records. So they're out from
Cool.
the Bay Area, and this is their second single. They released a single a few weeks back called Ceremony of Flesh. They just put out a single, Madness Malformed, here yesterday or today. It was today. And if you like kind of that brutal death metal heavy sound, like check out Recidivist because it's solid. They're doing a full length album playthrough show for their album release at the beginning of November,
Cool.
and I'm stoked for it. It's
Yeah.
gonna be cool. These dudes they're fun, they're cool, and like we've talked to a couple like Salt Lake bands and stuff like that. Specifically, when we were talking to Stone Shut, Sean was saying like it was Recidivist who was like the band that triggered him to be like, I just want to write some heavy music again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they're dope.
It's dope. The only other new song I guess I heard was Brass Tongue has a new song
Sick.
out. So I didn't like sit down and like actually listen to it. I just it just popped up. And I was like, oh, new Brass Tongue. But I got to go back and listen to it. It sounded good from what I heard, but I really like their stuff. So I'm sure it's solid.
I'm sure it's great. And I'm sure there's a ton of stuff that we missed, but I'm the same as you, man.
Yeah. Cause
I've
like,
kind of taken a week off.
Goalkeeper had a new EP release. I don't think
Yeah.
we talked about that. It's super good. And then Interpersonal had
Their album drop.
I don't know. The album dropped. I think it's just a song.
Oh, is it just the
Well,
song?
they have 3 songs total that have released. I think we've talked about the other 2, and there was one new one recently.
That's right. Yep.
So,
Which again, their whole thing is it's solid. Interpersonal is going a different direction. So if you were a fan of their old stuff, don't expect it to be the same.
right.
They're going in kind of that heavier, a little bit darker, almost post-hardcore feel instead of treading the line of pop punk,
Yeah.
so to speak. So,
And who knows, man? We might have those 2 bands back on to talk about their new stuff. We might. We're trying, but we'll see if they want to talk to us again. So, new tours, I haven't paid attention. Like I said, it's like I came out of a coma and I'm just trying to get caught up on life.
the only one that I saw was Silverstein with Thursday
Oh yeah.
at the beginning
that's
of
right.
next year. So they're doing their 25 years of Silverstein, I believe it is.
Cool.
So yeah,
Yeah, I'm
That'll
friends
be
with the
cool.
guy. I'm friends with the guy down here. It's like a huge Thursday fan, and he already texted me. He's like, "Are we going to this?" And I was like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, dude, I'll go."
and it says Silverstein with Thursday, and then special guest to be announced. So I'm curious at who else they're bringing along. If you've already got Silverstein and Thursday, they might either like stack the lineup with like a throwback band, or it's
Yeah,
going to be someone who I don't care to see. So
which is kind of what bands have done lately. So
yeah, but I was surprised to see Thursday on there. So it could be a stacked bill.
yeah,
We'll see.
he's sick. So
Maybe they'll bring back Dead and Divine.
I don't know. That doesn't fit.
Yeah, it does.
No.
Freaking
Doesn't fit at all.
Shane Told was the one who discovered Dead and Divine.
That's
course it
that's,
fits.
but that's fine. But it doesn't fit on this tour. I was thinking like Thrice or something.
That's too heavy. That's too much power in one. They won't.
Thrice
do
is too heavy. Oh, you mean like
No,
okay.
like
that's
too
too big of a
many-
tour?
Too big of a tour.
Okay.
That won't happen. So,
Well, we'll see.
but yeah, I think that was the only one I saw. I'm sure that there was something else that came through, but yeah, nothing else that immediately sticks out in my mind.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, we're not going to waste a bunch of time because we've got a lot of stuff to talk about. So yeah, man, we got back from Furnace Fest last week. Have pretty much just been nursing wounds and everything this week. What did you think? Like, let's just like one sentence. What did you think of the
Just
weekend?
lay it all out
Like,
there.
what's one word that you would have described the weekend?
I mean, can you really say anything else besides like incredible, right? Super nostalgic. I could say nostalgic. It had a very reminiscent feel of when we were
Yeah.
younger. It was a very throwback feel from the pits to the stage diving to the bands themselves. Like some of these bands are huge now. And the fact that like
Yeah.
Under Oath let people crawl up on stage with them and swarm Spencer and Aaron and the dudes in Under Oath, and Kyle has a picture where it looks like he's gonna like climb on top of Spencer kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like it was unreal. It really was. And even Under Oath said, this may be the last show we ever play without a barricade.
Yeah. I
You
mean, I've
know,
got a lot of stuff
so-
to say about Under Oath, so we'll get there.
Yeah, for
But-
sure.
Like the word that I would describe it was just perfect.
Yeah.
Like I honestly don't think that they could have done anything any better. Like I feel like Friday was like the perfect day to open it with.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't like huge bands that you for me personally, right? This is me talking. And if you guys go back and listen to our first episode, I told you all that my goal for Furnace Fest was very much like nostalgia. Like I want to see bands that either I haven't seen in forever or I'll never see again or I've never seen before, you know?
Right.
And it was perfect. Like it worked out perfect. The first day I got to do exactly that, but it also wasn't like overloading. Like I think if the lineup for Saturday had been on Friday, like it probably wouldn't have been the same feel for the weekend. You know what I mean? Like Friday was the perfect workup to like.
It was a
what the
good
rest of the
entry. It really
Absolutely.
was. I didn't know what to expect in terms of like the pits, moshing, like all of that kind of stuff. And I do feel like Friday kind of set the right tone
Yeah.
for how the weekend was going to go. So like you kind of got a feel for everyone who was there. You got a feel for who was going to be hanging out in the pits, who was moshing and stuff like that. But the bands weren't crazy heavy.
Right.
It made it
Except
so it was
Bury Your Dead.
easy. Well, besides Bury Your Dead, but I think that set the tone though as well for the
Absolutely.
older scene, the like
Absolutely.
what to expect during some of these very nostalgic, very metalcore esque bands kind of thing, and like the way to navigate that as well. So like, listen, we've been around, we've done it for a long time, but you just never know. You never know if there's going to be that one jackass who decides that you just don't know kind
I
of
mean,
thing.
what's interesting is like there were a couple. Like there was one dude that was like straight up just hitting people on the edge of the pit. And I don't know if somebody just decked him or if he got pushed into a fist, but he got knocked clean out. Like you said, we've been doing this a while, right? Like I've looked at a lot of pits and been like, okay, I'm cool. Or especially at my age now, where it's like I know I can still hang with the younger kids, but I also like know I have to go to work tomorrow and provide for a family. So like there are pits where I'm just like, not tonight. You know, I
Yeah.
haven't hit my deductible on my insurance. It's cool. I'm sitting this one out, you know?
Yeah.
But there were also other times where it's like, no, we're not moshing hard enough. Like these kids need to get out of the way and let old like the Gramps come in here and show them how it's freaking done. You know? So like
I agree.
it was like a really, like you said, it was a really good feel. I think people that didn't read the room right, just like in any scene, it gets dealt with and then you don't see it anymore, you know? So I was very, very satisfied
Yeah.
with the pits. Now, one thing I'll say, and I might catch some hate for this, but we were talking about this a little bit that this younger generation moshing, like Josh hasn't been on for a while. So I don't think we've really had these like old man yells at clouds takes, you know, in a little bit, but I'm going to give one. Like these young kids, like they mosh like without any understanding of like what the consequences were back in the day when you hit the wrong person and would get jumped. You know what I mean? Like to me, it felt like this younger generation, and I don't know, maybe I just haven't been to enough shows with like younger bands and younger crowds that like I haven't really noticed it, but like it and maybe people thought that about us. I'm sure they did, that we thought we were way harder than we were, you know. But like I
Sure.
just feel like some of the younger generation that was there like don't really understand what it's like to, you know, put your money where your mouth is at some of these shows, you know.
You know, I understand why you're saying that, but at the same time, and I feel like I'm not throwing shade at anyone, okay? Because I love how moshing looks. I love like seeing a pit go wild, right? I love seeing the kicks, the spins, all of that kind of stuff. But I do also think that it's become a little bit timid. Everyone kind of claims their space
Yeah.
and no one really gets people out of the way anymore, which I feel a little bit bad because I do think that we talked about this as well. We grew up where it's like if you were going to mosh, you expected to be hit
Yeah.
at some point, whether like someone pushed you out of the way, whether you moshed into someone and they hit you because you moshed into someone, if you were moshing, you expected to be hit kind of thing. And I don't think that the younger crowd has that as much. I think that because like bands like, and again, I'm not throwing shade, but Orthodox will get up on stage and be like, show me your style.
Yeah.
I'm like, don't show me your style. Show me a bloody nose.
I know, right?
Like, get
Yeah.
someone out of the way. Show me who's the hardest. Show me who's the toughest kind of
Yeah.
thing. You know? So like it's a different thing.
Well,
It's a
and I just
different
like
dynamic.
I think too that like and we're not throwing shade. This is just observations as
Yeah,
guys that
100%.
have gotten old through the scene, right? Like we've been doing this a long time, and I plan on doing this for longer, right? Like I'm not hanging my shoes up yet, you know? It's just like I remember being a kid and going into some of these pits and like you learn from the older generation, right? And like if I was gonna mosh hard, then it's like I was gonna have to back myself up. You know what I mean? Like I was gonna have to be a tough guy, right? I wasn't gonna have to just look like a tough guy. I wasn't gonna have to just like play the role and act like I'm moshing all tough. Like if you like we grew up in a scene where like if you moshed hard, man, you kind of had to be hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like you were gonna get hit. Like
Yeah.
and there were people that moshed harder than you did. And like if you didn't want to get hit, like you had to leave. There was none of this like I'm gonna look tough. But then like the second somebody moshes harder than me, I'm gonna run away. It's like, no, like you either stay there and do it or like you just don't do it. You know, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just saying it's really interesting looking at it as from my perspective as a guy in my 30s now at kids in their like, 18, 19, whatever.
Yeah.
They're doing this because it just felt different to me. You know?
We were talking, I don't remember who we were talking to. We met someone over there, but you were talking about the Bitter End show, right?
Yeah.
And specifically, it was a guy named Sean. We met a guy named Sean. And you were saying when Day by Day was playing, sure, kids were swinging hard and stuff, but it was kind of what we're saying. They were swinging in their own space, not really like getting into it. Even like crowd killing and stuff like that is different than what we're talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a difference between crowd killing and literally just swinging hard back into the crowd and people catching fists or catching kicks or something like that, Because then, like you were saying, well, when Bitter End came out and he immediately, his eyes went big. He's like, dude, the old heads came out.
Yeah.
And it's just different. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
And
it's different.
The reason why I'm bringing that up, and like again, I'm not throwing shade. Like Twisted Luck opened the festival.
Yeah,
they're a young band. We've talked about them. They're awesome. They were like, what a cool way to open up the frickin' festival, dude. To have a bunch of like high school kids in their band, like that just speaks volumes to what the Alabama scene is. Like respect to all the Alabama bands and a lot of the people from Alabama. It's an awesome scene. They should be super proud of that. But I did notice the difference of like the kids that went out and moshed for them was very different when you waited 2 hours and we all showed up for Bury Your Dead.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it was like the guys for Twisted Luck were moshing hard. Like it was cool. They had style. Like, man, I did not look that good when I was like 16, 17 moshing, right? Like I looked like a dumbass. I probably still do.
Yeah.
But you could just like physically feel the difference at the pit in Bury Your Dead because it was like, all right, now there's a 40-year-old dude that's got like decades of anger that he is letting out into this pit, And and those guys weren't there. And it's like, I hope they were watching it because that's what we did. I hope they're like, oh man, like this is it, right? Like these are the old guys that have been doing this a while. Like I want to learn from them. And
so I'm going to shout out the drummer for Twisted Luck, Emery, English's son.
Yeah.
Dude, he came into the Evergreen Terrace pit with us. And dude, he was holding his own.
He was holding his own. Respect.
Yeah, like
that was a gnarly pit.
There was a couple kids who did come through and like stuff like that, but 100% like it was funny because B-Ham opened every day, right? So it was Twisted Luck, Commodity, and then Cold Hard Steel was the last one who opened. And dude, shout out the Alabama scene. The scene that they have going on down there is awesome. Like we were talking to the Delta Hate people, like they were just gushing over what you have going on in Alabama with No Cure, like all that stuff. The 3 opening bands, Twisted Luck, Commodity, Cold Hard Steel, like just absolutely incredible. And then all the other bands too. You had Double Tap, you had All In, even like the lighter bands, Penny Circus and stuff like that. Yeah. Like the B-Ham scene stuck together, and it was really, really cool to see. But it was interesting. Like it was a local show for them, and they definitely played it up like a local show.
Yeah.
And those opening bands, which was really fun. It was really cool. So
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
So Friday, yeah, we started with Twisted Luck. Man, they've got so much potential, and to be that good, that young,
Yeah.
um, bodes well for them, you know. So after them though, we didn't see Nigma, we didn't see Double Tap, 156 Silence.
We went and saw a little bit of Double Tap.
That's right.
Yeah, we went and we caught a couple songs. So their guitarist, it looked like, was the same guitarist from Twisted Luck.
Yeah.
So it's another young upcoming band from Beham. So they are another, like, keep your eyes open for Double Tap as well. I think that they're about to release some stuff. It's what did Cold Hard Still say? It's kind of an On Broken Wings feel, but then a little bit of that post-hardcore, like the singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was heavy, and the crowd was having fun with them too. So
yeah. So then 156 Silence and From a Second Story Window, we didn't see either of them.
Yeah.
I think we went and got food and then waited for Bury Your Dead.
I think we saw 156 Silence video song because I posted a video. And I think we sat there in the back From a Second Story Window while we were eating. But yeah, dude, it was saving for Bury Your Dead for sure.
Bury Your Dead to me is what like really kicked off the festival.
Yes.
So I was not expecting that. Like if people have seen our videos from that, holy cow, were they amazing. And like I remember the like first 3 Bury Your Dead albums.
Yeah.
That was what I remembered. And they played a ton of stuff off of that. And dude, they sounded so good and it was so freaking heavy and was just aggressive and the pit was huge and violent and man, I freaking loved it.
Dude, it was fun because number one, we start walking down and listen, like I was an idiot, right? Like I'm sitting there, I'm filming as we're walking down kind of thing. And I'm like, dude, it's Alan from 4 Year Strong. It's Alan from 4 Year Strong. By the way, it was Dan from 4 Year Strong, not Alan. So that was my bad. But it was really cool because they start playing all of this stuff. Matt Brusso's up there and he starts introducing everyone. And he's like, by the way, the first time I ever played heavy music was with Danny. So the 4 Year Strong and the Bury Your Dead vocalist were in some high school band together, which is awesome.
Yeah.
But it just like, that was the resonating nostalgia.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, the pit opened up. It became much more of a familiar pit to what we grew up with and stuff like that. Like I didn't want to get hit by a few guys. Like I kept my eyes on a few guys kind of thing.
Yeah.
And picked my time to just, again, it was the first band we really moshed for kind of thing. So I was still getting a little bit feet under me, but freaking ending with Bury Your Effing Dead, man.
Yeah, dude, when he starts screaming, Bury Your Effing Dead, everyone's dogpiling on him and stuff. And
well, he just hands the mic away and he goes and he stands on the back of the drum, raises his hand, throws up the heart, and everyone's piling up there and just screaming it. Like, it seriously is like probably going to be one of the most like memorable.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like the first set we saw, and it's a top 3 set from Furnace Fest for me.
Easily, if not the best. It might be number one.
Under Oath was my favorite.
Listen, like Under Oath was absolutely incredible as well. And I know why Under Oath is your favorite kind of thing. But like straight up, I was expecting Furnace Fest to be fun, to be wild and stuff like that. That set the tone for what Furnace Fest was going to be, though.
Yeah.
Which is why it might be the number one.
Yeah.
Just because it set the overall tone for the rest of the freaking weekend.
Dude, it just caught me so off guard too, because like, look, I haven't consistently listened to Bury Your Dead for years.
Same.
Right. And so like I knew I wanted to see him. If you go back and listen to our episode, they were on the list of like I want to see because like I remember them from when I was younger and the just nuts show that they would put on.
Yeah.
And so like I was excited for him, but I just was not expecting for how freaking hard that set went.
It was ridiculous.
And like I remember just grabbing a couple people and just bull rushing and like like just throwing as hard as I could, dude. It was, yeah, like it was really good. It was
Yeah,
awesome. So
totally agree. So after Bury Your Dead, like straight up, I don't know if we prepped well enough for what Furnace Fest was going to be because we were pretty trashed after one set of Bury Your Dead. So
yeah.
we actually skipped Bleeding Through and we went and grabbed a couple drinks and watched a couple songs from O Sleeper.
Which they opened with Vices Like Vipers, and I
Uh-huh.
was like, awesome. That's like the only song I really cared to hear from them, and they played the first song, so I was like, this is perfect. That album
Put,
and that song is so good.
they played that, and then the only song I wanted to hear was Son of the Morning.
Yeah.
When that came on, I just ran straight to the pit. I messed around for Son of the Morning, and then we dipped because, dude,
Yeah, I felt bad though. That main stage had issues with like the sound, and their
Yeah.
sound cut out for
After that.
Yeah, they probably missed like a third of their set just because
Yeah.
of sound issues.
So that kind of sucks. We didn't watch a ton of the main stage, honestly. Like
Yeah.
we pretty much lived in the shed. There wasn't like the majority of the time. So, but after O Sleeper, after we recovered just a little bit, like the energy was conserved because He Is Legend was up next.
Yeah,
And this was my number one band for the day. And dude, they did not disappoint.
they were so good.
Just an absolutely incredible set.
You know what's interesting too is like I know, and we'll get to Under Oath, but I know Under Oath made the comment about not having a barricade and stuff, but you could tell that I don't know that they really felt comfortable
Oh, for sure.
with all of us up there, right? He Is Legend though. Like I think his name's Silas, right? The singer.
I don't remember his name.
He was just like, we're a DIY band. We're still a DIY band. Like, get up here. And I thought that was so cool because He Is Legend is like a bigger band. They've been around a long time. They've played huge shows. Like, didn't they tour with Dragon Force?
Probably they
Like-
played wild stuff.
Like, I never would have like thought that He Is Legend is like a DIY, get up on stage, dogpile type band, but they were like in their element in the shed with everyone up there, and it was awesome.
Yeah. But like seriously, like watching the seduction, I posted the video and I was like being seduced by He Is Legend or whatever. Because like straight up at the end of that song, where what does he say? I don't know, but then it kind of cuts out and he goes, I think we would look great dead.
Yeah.
Did you see in the video just everyone's hands going up and everyone's singing it with him? It like goosebumps, bro. Like it was just so fun. And then moshing to I Am Hollywood again.
Oh, dude. Like I feel like there's a couple songs from bands like Under Oath and He Is Legend that like I went harder for during certain songs than any of the other like actual hardcore bands. And you know what?
Yes.
This is what I've really appreciated about Furnace Fest and what I really enjoyed is the same guys that like we were moshing super hard to like Bury Your Dead or Trapped Under Ice or Mind Force were the same people at He Is Legend, at Under Oath, at these bands that I don't think you would really expect. And to me, like you and I are like a giant like spectrum of music that we listen to, right? Like
Yeah.
we're all over the place. And I love that. Like I feel like you're not doing yourself a favor if you're only listening to one type of music. Like you absolutely should be able to enjoy He Is Legend and enjoy Bane a couple hours later. You know what I mean? And that's what I liked about this festival was they had all these different kind of bands, and to see the same people that I was like trying to kill each other with at the hardcore bands singing every word to He Is Legend just made me feel so good, right? It made me feel so like in the right spot that I'm like the same, this big spectrum of music and other people were there with me and you doing that, you know?
100%. And to be honest, like the Bury Your Dead crowd was big. The He Is Legend crowd was bigger.
Yeah.
And I was not expecting that.
Right.
I was actually expecting the He Is Legend crowd to shrink pretty good. I didn't expect for as many people to know every single word to I Am Hollywood.
I know.
Like, dude, it was just, it's unreal. And we'll talk about it with Under Oath too. The amount of just people there who were just gushing over these albums and these bands that literally were like the formative years of our music
Right.
it's just next level. You know what I mean? I'm starting to feel like our parents probably feel listening to like AC/DC and crap like that. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
just it just takes you back.
Exactly. So no, they were incredible. So after that, like we missed Full of Hell, Emery. I guess we kind of heard a couple Emery songs.
We sat
Uh,
in the back and listened to Emery, but
we
didn't
missed
participate.
Silent Planet. And then we caught the first little bit of Unearth,
Yeah.
which like I don't mind Unearth. Just their sound quality in the shed, it sounded so bad. I couldn't hear anything.
You know,
So
it was
I was kind of
really
disappointed in that.
strange. I agree with you because, dude, Bury Your Dead and He Is Legend, even Twisted Luck, all of them sounded so good. It
Yeah.
was so crisp. It was so clean. And then Unearth, for some reason, they really dropped the low end. The
Mhm.
bass was really heavy. The bass
Yeah.
drums were really heavy. And we'll talk about it when we get to Coalesce, but it was like shaking
Yeah.
the
Shed.
tin
Mhm.
shed. And it was like a lot of feedback and stuff like that. So like Unearth was a band who we said, you know, like we were really high on seeing because it'd been so long. They were a metalcore act that we just didn't really get our due with back in the day, kind of thing. And
It's
the
disappointing.
Unearth was good.
Yeah,
Unearth,
it's
the
not their
sound,
fault, right? Like
the
it's not
sound
their
was
fault.
rough.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not. And people showed up for him. So
Yeah.
like it was a cool set. It's just I don't know. It sucked. And I think the other thing too is like we were decently tired at this point and we were waiting for Haste Today.
Yeah.
And so like I mean, I don't know. Even if they sounded good, I don't think I was sticking around for all of it because I wanted to see Haste Today. So
100%. No, we were leaving early to go catch Chase the Day. I probably would have stuck around for maybe one or two more songs though, if it wasn't for because I think we took a little bit of a break. Like
Yeah.
we caught a couple songs, then we took a little bit of a break before Haste the Day. But yeah, so we wandered over to the main stage, Haste the Day, and again, it was a straight nostalgia hit. But
they freaking opened with When Everything
Everything
Falls. I don't know what they're doing. They played Pressure the Hinges like the third song. Like it was awesome seeing them. I'm not gonna lie though, it was one of the worst like set lists that I think they could have ever played. Like everyone else can suck it. I know what you're gonna say about people like, "Oh, the Pressure the Hinges is not like their favorite album." Well, screw all them because it is their best album. And the fact that they played one song off it is criminal. It's criminal.
Listen, I completely agree with you. They did end it pretty well. Didn't they end with American Love or was it Blue 42?
They ended with both of those. Those were the
American
last.
Love and Blue 42, right?
Yeah.
So it had a nostalgia hit, but they played way too much off of. They played their new song Burn, which comes out in a few days, which it was fine. It's a current metalcore song.
Yeah.
It was nothing that like blew like it was fine. It didn't blow me away. I wasn't disappointed about it like I was disappointed about Under Oath Playing Teeth. We'll put it that way. But they played a lot off of not Attack of the Wolf King, Dreamer. Yeah, Attack of the Wolf King and Dreamer.
Uh-huh.
They played a decent amount off that. And the couple Coward songs they played weren't their best Coward songs either.
No, they only played one song off Dreamer, didn't they? They played 68.
That's right.
That song rips. I mean, the first like 3-ish songs I think were When Everything Falls, 68,
and then Pressure the Hinges, right?
And then Pressure the Hinges. I'm cool with that. Everything in the middle sucked. And then the last like
and then they ended,
awesome.
with Burning Bridges stuff. Yeah. Which
bummed out.
So overall, it was like When Everything Falls, singing that along front to back, absolutely incredible. Singing along Pressure the Hinges. I wanted Chorus of Angels so bad. Like that's the song that I wanted them to, or Stitches, right? But like for me personally, I just love Chorus of Angels. It's such a booming, big song that's just such a heavy breakdown too, that like it just would have been a fun moshing song, you know? So yeah, a little bit disappointed with Haste the Day for sure.
Again, I'm gonna get probably hate for this, but this was the band where they like grabbed that dude from the wheelchair, and respect All right. Like, I'm not complaining at all about this. All right. Like, they let the guy had like an electric wheelchair. He circle pitted. Awesome. All right. They like, look, like, I feel like they pulled him out of his chair and took him up on stage. There had to have been a better way to do it than the way that they did it. And that's all I'm laughing about. I'm not laughing about this guy because, like, dude,
No,
like,
it was actually really cool. Like
was
Steven
awesome.
like
They
pulled it,
should have just
they sang together, like that was really
Yeah.
cool. But as soon as they hoisted him like up and over their head, like
I feel
like
so bad laughing about it,
I
but he
know.
was like on an angle and like almost falling the like I don't he was just almost falling the entire time, and it just I was like worried about him because I was like he does not look like he's safe up there,
It
you
looked
know?
like something bad was gonna happen.
Yeah,
It really did.
it
But it
just
was cool. I mean, the fact that they
yeah,
pulled him
like,
up and Steven sang along with him, like
yeah,
that was all so cool. So
of
like
course. Like I have no problem with what they did. It's just
right.
how they did it. I was just in the back like
Just a little bit worried. Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, though, dude, I don't know what it was about day one. I just feel like it was getting like a fest feet under us kind of thing because we took a decent amount of breaks after this
Yeah.
one. Because again, after Haste the Day, we took a little bit of a break, just sat in the back and listened to Better Lovers again against the fence kind of thing. And we were just waiting for Bane.
Yeah.
Bane was super dope. We missed the Devil Wears Prada. I'm not too heartbroken about it, but what do you think about Bane?
This might be, I guess, the cancelable hot take from people in the hardcore scene. I like wasn't that impressed. I mean, it's cool to see them because like I like Bane. I listen to their albums. You
Yeah.
know, I have no issues with Bane. I just maybe it's because I was just tired and hadn't gotten, like you said, like my sea legs under me for the festival yet. That like I just didn't. I don't know.
Yeah.
Just didn't really do it for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, like I'm gonna say it about another band here on the last day that I'm probably gonna catch a lot of hate for, but maybe seeing Bane in this environment is not the way to do it. Maybe that's the problem.
I think that I was too tired for the Bane set because I actually really like sitting there and watching them. I had a ton of fun just sitting there and watching them, but the shed did pack in for Bane. It was really hot. There was a lot of people around us. Like at that point, you're feeling a little grimy already, and
Yeah.
to have other grimy bodies on you was not the most pleasant
Well,
thing.
I think the other thing too is like maybe part of it too was that my adrenaline was running so much still from Bury Your Dead that I just wanted to like swing at people.
Yeah,
And you can't do that to Bane.
right. Yeah. So I thought that like watching them, and I enjoyed their set because, like I said, I was recording and stuff like that, and I thought that they put on a heck of a show.
Yeah, they sounded
Like,
good.
they were great. I think that their after show, because they played with Orthodox the midnight show,
Sure.
I think that would have been a funner show than the Shed set was.
Yeah, probably.
And unfortunately, they had to cut short 2 songs or something like that because
No, I
someone
think it was the last song.
just one song maybe,
Yeah.
but someone stage dove into a hole in the crowd, totally missed everyone, landed on their
Look,
head or something.
If you're a
So.
young kid listening to this podcast and you're like getting into the scene, like welcome, glad you're here. Man, stage dive smarter.
Yeah.
Like be smarter. All right. You guys heard me talk about Koyo like a couple months ago where somebody front flipped off the stage and there were 3 people there to catch him. Like, I don't want shows getting shut down because you're an idiot and can't jump off the stage where there's people. Like there were
Right.
plenty of people in the vicinity in the shed at Furnace Fest. Jump into them. Don't jump into the one hole where no one's there.
Right. Right. So from everything I read, everything I heard, everyone got up and was totally, well, they were fine. They got up and they left on their own power.
Yeah, that's good.
No one got like drug out other than the dude who broke his ankle during No Cure. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah. Anyways, just wild. And then we watched Coalesce. And dude, like I've listened to quite a bit of Coalesce since they've been announced at Furnace Fest, and I actually enjoy their albums. Their albums they're different than what I currently listen to. they're heavy, they're kind of mathy.
It's
Like,
cool to think about the bands that they influenced because I don't think that like Dillinger would be a band. Converge probably wouldn't have been a band.
or at
Norma
least those
Jean,
were contemporaries. I don't
right?
know, like start and end times of
Coalesce
all
is
those.
earlier than all those.
Are they? So yeah, I mean, like absolutely incredible, influential band and all that stuff. But again, like we were talking about with Unearth, they
Same.
dropped the low end so much. The shed was just shaking. We even
Yeah.
have like a comment on our video that's like, all I can hear is the low end. Like I
Yeah.
can't even hear them play.
Well, and you could
So
tell the vocalist was like bugged because I think the lights were shining like right into his eyes. He kept trying to tell him to shut off the lights up front and they wouldn't do it.
yeah,
And you could tell, I don't know. It's just stuff like that frustrates me because it's like Coalesce, like this is a band that I'm never going to be able to see again.
right.
And like that's what happened. But oh
Right.
well, at least I got to see them, right?
Yeah.
Like you can tell they're old.
Yeah.
So it's awesome because it's like, dude, these guys have been around probably as long as I've been alive. Like
Or
that's
longer.
incredible.
Yeah.
Or longer. Like that's incredible. Like what an awesome legacy to be a part of to see a band like that,
Right.
And like shout out to Tommy Green. We got your video, man. We sent it to you.
Yep.
Like that's what he said is like Coalesce was a huge influence to him. So like this and like that's cool that we were there able to see that. So
Right. So again, man, it must have just been getting that first day under our sea legs under us kind of thing. Cause dude, we bailed after Coalesce. We didn't even catch August Burns
No.
Red. So
and look, we haven't talked about August Burns Red much, but they will never be able to top seeing them at the Studio 600 or whatever in Salt Lake. Do you remember that show? Were you there? When the vocalist Mike went out and he was standing on the speakers just like flexing and screaming.
yeah.
Like, I don't need to see them again. It's okay. Like, it's okay.
So I'm just going back through my list of like who I wanted to see and everything and running through. So like my number one was He's Legend, caught that set. Definitely up there for one of the top sets of the day. My number two was Bane. It has to be lower after kind of what I think I was just tired. I missed Silverstein, who was 3. Haste the Day was pretty low on the list. August Burns Red we didn't see. Devil Wears Prada we didn't see. Dying Wish we didn't see. Unearthed set was a little bit disappointing. Twisted Luck was dope, so super fun, and Bury Your Dead blew me away. So, like for who we saw, Bury Your Dead was definitely the set of the day.
Absolutely.
Hey, He Is Legend, not super far behind. Right. But Bury Your Dead, like I said, might have been the set of the fest for me. So
yeah, it was incredible. So
wild.
All right. So then we went back and snuggled. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, we were gone. I was out.
Oh, dude, I remember because like you were just like, dude, I think I'm gonna go to bed. I'm like, all right, man. And then like I turned and flipped the light off, and you were like already snoring.
Dude, I was done. Once we said we were going to bed, I was in bed. I was
you
gone.
were like out, dude. Yeah, it was pretty funny. So, all right, day 2. Again, opened up with an Alabama band, Commodity. We had English on. Obviously, big fans of them. They were incredible. They sounded amazing. Big fans of them. I don't really have much else to say. They're not a big moshy band, so like it was interesting to see because, early in the day, like not as many people there. I don't think a lot of people know Commodity and stuff, so like it wasn't packed. So it was interesting to see the crowd and things like that for a band that wasn't moshy. But
again, though, it was very, very well supported by the Alabama scene. Like kudos to the Alabama scene because they showed out for their guys. And I love Commodity. They're like one of my favorite like newer bands that we've been talking about and listening to. I thought their set was great. They sounded great. Everything was good. The one thing I wanted to do was scream Fall from the Sun with them. Or Fell from the Sun.
Yeah.
And I got to do that.
Nice.
So I was super pumped. It was a ton of fun. They also, on that one song that has Delta Hayes, she came out with them. She screamed along with them. That was the other thing that the Alabama scene did. They all guest vocaled with each other. It was like nonstop rotation of guest vocal spots, which was pretty dope.
So the fest was actually really cool with that because like the dude from 68 went and did the Norma Jean song.
Yeah.
And like there was a lot of that going on, which was
There's a
awesome.
ton. Yeah. It was
Yeah.
ton of fun with all
So
of that.
yeah, they were cool. And then we stuck around and watched a little bit of Idle Threat. I'm a big fan of Idle Threat. I think they have a really cool post-hardcore sound. They sounded great.
Yeah.
So I just think that again, like we knew what Saturday was gonna be, so I think we went and sat down for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was probably a good call, judging with how Evergreen Terrace went. So
Yeah. Dude, the 2 o'clock slot was like perfect every single day. So I guess Evergreen Terrace was a little bit before the 2 o'clock slot, but that like
yeah,
third band on
right.
the shed stage, dude, absolutely wild. This was one of the bands I was really excited to see. Since Absolved has been playing the No Donnie,
Oh
like
yeah.
I've been really stoked to catch Evergreen Terrace. And dude, the vocalist was up there. They were cracking jokes. They were talking about doing mushrooms. They were being hilarious. There was stage diving. He was crawling into the crowd, and
Yeah.
the old heads were. Whoa, where'd you go?
Up there. That was
And the
weird.
old heads, dude, they were just like they were swinging hard, man.
Yeah.
So it was a great pit. It was very similar to the Bury Your Dead pit. It was fun. Like this was a fun set.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen them. I've listened to them, but I don't recall. Maybe they crept in there on one of these tours that we went to, but
I know I've seen them once.
okay.
I can't remember where it was. I can't remember. It might have been a Warp Tour.
Yeah, maybe.
It might have been something else. I know I've seen Evergreen Terrace once though,
I mean, if you've seen them,
because
I was most likely there.
most likely because it was after that I went and I picked up one of their albums.
Okay.
So it was that Wolf Rider. Wolf,
The one with the I know what you're talking about.
you know which one I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
So, anyways,
Yeah,
I know I've seen them.
They were
once.
awesome, and kind of like Bury Your Dead. I was a little shocked at like how aggressive. Maybe less than Bury Your Dead for Evergreen Terrace because they're not like a straight up hardcore band, right?
No.
Like, and I was a little shocked at like how aggressive we all were.
Yeah.
You know, like it got pretty wild. So
No, I mean, I think that like I was kind of gauging the temperature of like how hard people were swinging, and people started swinging hard.
yeah.
So I was like, all right, this is what we're doing. So like that was another one that kind of set the tone for how the rest of the day was going to go.
Yeah. They were awesome. That was a fun set. So then after that, we went over and caught a little bit of Delta Hate.
Yeah.
And man, they sound good live.
I've said it before. I'll say it again. I posted about it. I expect Delta Hate to be one of the bands that blows up in 2025.
Yeah.
They just dropped a new EP. If you haven't listened to it, go listen to it. It's great as well. They are doing heavy music right, in my opinion.
Keep going. I'm listening.
There's a lot of beatdown happening right now. There's a lot of like the death metal influences, deathcore influences that are happening currently. And I think that the way that Delta Hate incorporates it is like perfect. I love her vocals. I think that her vocals sound so good. And so like it was fun. And I just wanted to mosh to one song. I got my mosh in for one song. And after that, we just chilled for a minute and just caught some of their sets. So
yeah, I totally agree. They're also just like really cool people.
Yeah.
Like her and her husband were super nice and inviting and welcoming and fun to talk to.
Yeah, we sat there and chat with them, especially during the all-in set.
Yeah,
which was dope.
It just makes it so much better when good bands are not D-bags, you know?
100%. But we wanted to save a little bit of strength, a little bit of energy, because the number one band who I went to all of Furnace Fest for, Misery Signals, was the next band up. And dude, oh my gosh.
Yeah, they checked every box I had for them. They were so freaking good.
I was so happy that they came out with the Victim of Target.
Yeah.
Like, I've watched the This Is Hardcore Fest set 4 or 5 times, like recently.
Yeah.
And every time I watch it and they start with a victim of target, I was like, man, I want that. And they came out with a victim of target. It was so sick. And listen, I've got to give, I'm not mad. I was a little disappointed. Like the Orthodox dudes, like I'll say, like
Yeah, I forgot this is where it happened.
I said that like the vocalist was like, show me your style and stuff. The freaking guitarist for Orthodox, man, he came down, he jumped off the stage for the second song. He hit me so hard in the face, I thought my teeth got knocked out. Like he clocked me so dang good. And I had the bloodiest swollen lip for the next 3 days. So like when they say your style, it's because they have freaking style. So kudos to freaking Orthodox.
There was a shoe print because you were wearing a white shirt that day. There was a footprint on your shoulder from where he.
Yeah, I got caught with that too.
Foot, so hilarious.
I got hit so good. And that was like the second song during Misery Signals. So it dampened it just a little bit. But the euphoria was so good and the adrenaline was so good. It totally was amazing.
Were they the band that I messed my hand up to?
Was it
Poison the Well?
Did you? I thought you messed it up on the third day.
Did I? I don't know. All right, we'll get there. Anyways, one thing that was cool about Misery Signals is they had both vocalists, and they did it flawlessly. No complaints.
Totally agree.
No issues with it. It was awesome. They both were perfect with each other. It was cool. Yeah, they exceeded all expectations I had, which is really hard because I had seen them before, knew what I was getting into, but they were incredible.
Yeah.
It was awesome. It was bittersweet. Like metalcore will never be the same. That Misery Signals is not in it.
Agreed. So. Yeah, no, it was, again, this was a top 3 set for me. I thought it was absolutely incredible. Super happy I was there. Should have gone to the midnight show, but again, dude, I was freaking trashed.
Yeah.
I wasn't making it to another show that night. So,
yeah. So after them, we stuck around for Shai Hulud, which again was ridiculous. They were fun to see. They're not a big moshy band either. Like they had a little bit of that, but just to sit there and watch like Matt Fox and his technicality, and to be able to, like, you listen to them on album and you're just like, man, this is so good. Like it's technical. There's all these weird time changes. Like the music is just so good. And then to watch them play it live and to sound like they do on the album, you just have to sit there and be like, this is a spectacle. Like this is incredible to watch them do it live. So zero issues with that set. It was unbelievable.
No, it was great. And they played with Blood Ill Will Tempered, right? The majority of it.
Yeah.
They played a couple other songs too.
But they played oh shoot. Never mind. Keep going.
I know. I don't remember the name. Their names are very complicated. Yeah, a Profane Hatred of Man. Is that what it's called? Yeah. So, anyways, whatever.
Look, we're still concussed and everything. Like, you know.
But like straight up, like that set, they just did it so well because Shai Hulud is a band that has very like sing-alongable parts and stuff like that. People were climbing up there with them. People were screaming along with them. There's like a couple videos I found of like right up against where people were jumping off and like camera in the face of the vocalist. And it was so cool to see. Yeah. And again, Matt Fox, obviously so influential for anything melodic hardcore, right? Which is right in our wheelhouse. That watching him do his thing was, dude, it was awesome. It was fantastic. Awesome. So, yeah.
So then after them, we skipped Pain of Truth, which I didn't think we were going to do, but we were trashed, man. And
I will say the only reason I also skipped Dying Wish. I'm seeing them this week. So that was why I was able to let that one go.
Right.
So
So then we catch a little bit of Snapcase?
We caught right at the end.
That's right.
So yeah, this is where we went and grabbed dinner. So we took a break during Pain of Truth. We caught just the very end of Snapcase, but we wanted to be there for No Innocent Victim.
Yeah.
So that was the next one where that was our big band.
Yeah. And they were so good. And I think personally that was the most violent pit of the whole fest.
It was definitely up there. It was definitely up there. Poison the Well got pretty aggressive
Poison the
just
Well
because
got
of
very
how
aggressive.
because
I
of
might
how
have
packed it was.
And I might be a little bit to blame for Poison the Well, but
Yeah, but No Innocent Victim, man, it was insane. It was incredible. They at the very end, he walks out to the thing. He's like, "I want a dog pile this high," and
yeah,
like had his hand up. And dude, he got it, man. People crawled up there. They were 3, 4 bodies deep up on top of each other, kind of thing. It was
yeah,
fantastic. And like, listen, they are a Christian band. We've listened to a lot of Christian music, and he was up there and he was like sharing his story. And there
yeah,
was other bands who got up there and did the complete opposite. And like to each their own, right? But the fact that like he did that in that setting and all that stuff, like good for them. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like
It,
this is what hardcore is about. I don't care what your message is. Stand up for what your message is, regardless of,
yeah,
and they did that. So it was really cool. It was
yeah.
awesome, actually.
I was telling my wife about it because I was laughing that it's like, one of the most violent, if not the most violent pit. And then the song would end and he would like look down and he'd be like, "So Ephesians," and it would like rattle off like some scripture. And it just always has cracked me up.
And
Like
we
seeing
talked
Christian
about that
bands like that,
before.
yeah,
Yeah.
has always cracked me up. But his especially, and dude, they're great. I've always been a big fan of No Innocent Victim. That type of like fast, like metallic-y hardcore,
Yeah.
like the Terrors and stuff like that has just always resonated with me. And so, and to see a bunch of dudes up there with goatees, it's like, hell yeah,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
yeah, makes
No,
me
it
feel good.
was
Makes me feel strong,
makes you feel like a 50-year-old man.
Exactly. All right, man. All right.
Dude, it was great. They were super dope. They were definitely one of the top sets too.
Yeah.
Like on day 2, I did a couple like individual band posts. They were one that had to have their own post because they were
Yeah.
great. So,
Well, what's interesting too? Some of these bands, like No Innocent Victim, Snapcase, Coalesce, their recordings of some of their albums are not the best.
right.
And so to hear them play it live, you hear it in a different sound because it sounds good now.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure that's what it sounded like when you heard it back in like 1998. But
Yeah.
like the recording, me now in 2024 listening to it, like the recording doesn't sound that good in my car. But to see
Sure.
it live, you're just like, you don't care about that. You're like, dang, this sounds good.
Yeah.
You know.
100%.
Yeah.
Totally agree. After this, I will take hate for this. I didn't care to go see Stretch Armstrong, so I kind of stood in the back. You went and saw Stretch Armstrong.
Yeah.
Stretch Armstrong.
I'm a
So
big Stretch fan. They
yeah,
were cool. They put on a great show. I'm pretty sure they had all their families up there with them too. It
which
was
is
like
awesome.
just a bunch of old people and like their kids up there. Like packed. It was a pack set, So I was very, very happy. I was just by that point and after like how beat up I got and Notice It Victim, I just like didn't really want to mosh. So, and they're not a big breakdowny band either. They're more of a pile on and stage dive type
Right.
band. And I wanted my back to last the whole festival. So like I
Right.
didn't stage dive, but no, they were really good live. And they played a bunch of stuff off their new EP, which I really like.
Yeah.
And I don't know, they're cool. They're like an Evergreen Terrace too, right? Like they're not super heavy, but they got deep roots in the hardcore scene. So people
Right.
showed up. And it was a good set. It's fun.
No, it was cool. I did catch a couple songs. I was happy with the couple songs I did sit and watch kind of thing. But again, after No Innocent Victim, I was trashed and I knew Poison the Well was going to be
Yeah.
brutal as well. So like it was a little bit of a I gotta catch my breath here kind of thing. Which, dude, people can just talk crap. We sound like 50-year-old men kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like it was rough. I haven't.
Look, man, like professional athletes don't play in their professional leagues as long as you and I have been moshing. You know what I mean?
It
And
takes
like
a
it's
toll on your body.
exactly, it's a freaking contact sport, dude. You should have seen my back and my ribs and tell me it's not a contact sport, dude. I was so bruised. So
Oh
it's like
God.
being 33 and moshing, like, dude, like I'm not LeBron James. I'm like the average NBA player. Like my career's like over at that point. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
the fact that we were in there at that age, like I know it makes it sound 50, but like we've got miles on these knees, man.
Yeah, for freaking real. So you had to pick and choose your battles. And we
Yeah.
definitely had to pick. So, but dude, Poison the Well, man. I don't know if I could have asked for a better shed ending band
Yeah.
for night two. Absolutely incredible. We talked about this a little bit, and we'll talk about day 3 here in a minute, but Poison the Well was so good. I kind of wish they had been the day 3 closer. I wish Trapped Under Ice had been day 2 and Poison the Well had been day 3, because going from, I say this, but then I might have regretted it.
Right.
Going from Poison the Well to Under Oath might not have been feasible, right? But that set was so freaking good.
It was.
So fun, so violent, just incredible.
They had
And
like
great way to end the night.
it was at nighttime and the light show that they had was just like it was perfect to like
Yeah.
their music, and what's funny is like I was reading on Reddit that somebody had said something in the hardcore subreddit about like they were asking for a recommendation on something heavy or whatever, and somebody had put Poison the Well, and somebody commented back and they're like, oh, they're not, like that's not a hardcore band, like they're not that heavy. And I want to be like, man, you should have rolled up at 8:50 at Furnace Fest and tell me that wasn't a hardcore band, dude, because like it got wild
Yeah.
there for a little bit, And like I said before, I might have been a part of that problem.
Right.
I was swinging hard for a few of those breakdowns, but like when you see certain bands live, the level of heaviness like really comes out. And this is a band that I don't think you fully understand just how heavy they are until you see it live.
Yeah. And it also didn't help that they played Botula second.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple bands who played heavy, aggressive, like crowd favorite songs early in the set, and it sets the entire tone for the way the rest of it's going to go.
Yeah.
And Poison the Well did that. It was incredible. Playing Nerdy is the final song of that night kind of thing at the Shed stage. Absolutely incredible.
They're just like they're like a menacing band, dude. Like when you see them up there, like their vocalist,
Oh yeah.
he's a big, scary dude. Like again, I'm telling you, if you don't think this is a hardcore band, like go see them live in a hardcore setting, and I promise
Right.
you, like you're not walking out of there without some type of bruise or scrape. Like
Right.
it was nuts. It was nuts. So
100% agree.
well, we did catch like a couple songs of Coheed,
Yeah.
which was cool. My son's like a huge Coheed fan, and he was like texting me, telling me that I had to get him a video of Coheed. So they're fun. I'm sure we'll get around to talking about them sometime because like they're a great band. They're super creative and they sounded really good live. So
Oh, they
I
sound
just-
great live.
I was just thrashed, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely thrashed.
Like, here's the thing. When we were talking about all these sets and everything, I had August Burns Red pretty high up. I had Coheed pretty high up. I was really excited for these bands.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for how beat up I was going to feel. I thought I was going to be able to go and just chill and just be able to watch these things. But I won't say stupidly because I think that it actually worked out great. We were 2 miles away. We had to walk back to our hotel. So, 45-minute walk kind of thing. Like we were like not going to be walking back at 1 a.m.
Right.
So we
Except for the
failed,
last night.
but
But yeah.
except for the last night. So
Yeah.